Hello, I'm Andrew Cluley, the Director of Communications for Ann Arbor Public Schools. Recently, we received several questions regarding the water testing program. To help answer some of those questions, joining with me today is Jenna Sendra. She's the manager at Arch Environmental Group. Thanks for joining me, Jenna.
You're welcome.
One of the recommendations we've made is for people to run the faucets or drinking fountains for 30 seconds to a minute before taking their drink or filling up a water bottle. What is the benefit of doing this?
Letting the water run for 30 seconds to a minute will allow flushing the stagnant water that's been sitting in the fixture or piping out before you take a drink or use for cooking. The water that sits stagnant is, that's when it pulls out contaminants from the piping. The longer it sits there, the more it can pull out. And it's a good practice, best management practice for everyone to do at home and everywhere before they take a drink.
I know we chose this spot here at BA right in front of one of the hydration stations that we're recommending people use. Why is it, since we're recommending that people use hydration stations, why is it not a good idea that we just shut down all the other water sources and tell kids to only use these?
Recently, the MDEQ has put out some training that talks about and encourages you not to remove locations because it can create stagnant areas, dead ends in the piping system. And the best practice to keep lead out of water is to get the water moving. So the more water you can have moving, the better off the entire piping system is.
Okay. Now, a lot of the questions that we've had have been centered around the 2017 results. Specifically, the confusion that it looks like some sources had multiple first tests taken. Can you explain what happened in 2017?
Yes, in 2017, the timing of the sampling occurred over summer break. This is a time when water sits stagnant for a long period of time. It could be 6 weeks, 8 weeks. We started in July. The DEQ does put out a protocol that talks about flushing any location for 2 minutes prior to sampling, especially if it's within these stagnant times. We did do flushing. Sometimes accidents happen and a fixture may not have been flushed. And so when we got a high result, we wanted to make sure that it was accurate, that it was representative of the drinking water at that location. So we would go back, we would take a 30-second flush sample to see if the flush sample would come back high, indicating there's some other issues in piping, and made sure the location was flushed. The very next day, within 8 to 24 hours of the flushing, we collected a repeat first draw or a confirmation first draw. We wanted to see if there was really an issue with the fixture or if it was stagnant, which can happen in a lot of places.
And what mitigation actions were taken in 2017 and will be taken after the testing is done this year, if any sources come back with?
In 2017, we used the 15 parts per billion as our action level. Anything that came back over the action level that we determined not to be stagnant, we did piping replacement and fixture replacement, as well as additional follow-up sampling to verify that the issue was taken care of.
All right, great.
And in 2018, we are using the action level of anything above 10 parts per billion. That's an internal Ann Arbor Public Schools level that they've decided to use. So anything over 10, we are going to look at and treat like it was over 15, which would be the same thing. We will likely do possibly some flush sampling to see about the fixture. We will also do an inventory of the piping so we can identify if there's other issues, possibly brass valves, things like that, and make recommendations of what to replace in that system. And then once it's replaced, we will do additional follow-up sampling at that location.
All right, well, thank you very much for answering our questions. And if you have any more questions, please go to a2schools.org/water testing for more information, frequently asked questions, and also links to important, useful sources of other information.